Changemakers, and welcome to The Core, sponsored by Red Apple EdCo. This is your Everything Education podcast. We talk about current events, books to read. We interview education leaders, hear their stories, learn from their biggest lessons, and they share what they wish you knew about what it means to be in education today. I'm your host, Dr. Kia Turner. Buckle up for small seeds of inspiration that can lead to big changes in your classroom practice. Let's take a bite out of today's guest. Hi, you guys. It's Dr. Kia here at EdCampSCSD, right? So the St. Charles School District, as a district, decided to host an EdCamp, and we know to be there. And I had to sit down and talk to Lauren, who helped put this whole thing together from the very first year of EdCamp here, right? Mm-hmm. Lauren is a teacher here in St. Charles, but also a member of the District Professional Development Committee, and helped to bring this whole idea to life. And so I just had to know, what is it that St. Charles did differently that allowed an entire district to get on board with EdCamping? It's amazing. So, Lauren.
All right. So 3 years ago, one of my colleagues, well, two colleagues, went to an EdCamp prior. Okay. And they said, we need to bring EdCamp to St. Charles.
Yeah.
And so they wrote a proposal and sent it to our district professional development committee. And at the time, we had what were called mini grants that would pay like $100 for their time to set up on all the setup. So they used that. And I think the district also agreed to pay for the custodian for the day and to let us use the building.
And they were like, whatever you make happen, you're just going to make happen.
And so they really did most of the work. And I just kind of came in at the end part, and they just opened it up to everyone. And Kara and Tina had a lot of contacts and that have been at camps prior. And so just year by year, we're adding people to the team of leaders and the people that are putting the EdCamp on. And we just open it to all of our teacher friends that we know, all of our colleagues, people that we're meeting online through our professional learning networks.
That's exactly where I was going next. I was about to say, y'all know I have to ask. So how are we advertising? Is this a Twitter thing? You know, I'm a Twitter fanatic for development. What do you think?
So we put it out to people in our district a lot, just through district emails, different events that we have. We do a lot of push through Twitter. We are trying the Facebook page. We're going back to the Facebook too. So. Okay. And that way I can invite my friends, my teacher friends that I know work in other districts that might not be on Twitter.
Or who live in Kansas City
or
and may want to drive.
Anybody that wants to go.
Do you guys have a lot of Twitter participation in this district? Like, do you think a lot of the district is online and onto that kind of development yet? Or is that maybe something that's still growing?
I think that's definitely an area where we could grow. For the first time, I got an idea from the EdCamp group that I follow online, and someone said, we try to do a Twitter chat. And so we tried that Thursday. And not super success, but it was great for the first time.
There you go.
It's the place. I mean, that's a place for us to grow.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me toss out there. You guys know my questions I ask everyone. Okay. So my first one is always, why do you teach? And in your case, what is it that causes you to want to continue to push teacher development the way that you're doing?
I think professional development is so important because as teachers, if we're going to help kids grow, we have to be growing ourselves.
High five it.
And it's like, you don't know what you don't know until you're meeting new people that are doing things similar to you or even differently than you are. And just to be able to share it.
I love that. What is your personal go-to for development?
I do spend a lot of my time on Twitter.
Me too.
Just connecting with the people that I'm a reading teacher, and I
was ELA for like 10 years. Yes.
I stalk authors of children's books, and it's kind of crazy, but I try to just make connections, and then I show my kids the connections. It's just so fantastic.
I love that. Okay, 2, what's one thing you're doing in your classroom or in your overall education practice right now that really excites you? Like, I'm glad that I am a part of this. This is really taking off or having the results I'd hoped for. It even looks promising.
Well, I am blogging. I don't have a lot of followers.
I'm going to follow you.
Okay.
We're going to follow. And we'll
Link
put your
readers,
blogspot.com. There you go. We'll put the blogs below the video.
I use a lot just reflective practice.
Yeah.
And I just think that's so important for me. And if people read it, that's great, but it just really helps me reflect on what I'm doing. I think that makes me a stronger educator.
I agree completely. There's space to say, let me think this out. And then if you've gone through it too, maybe you can read it and learn some lessons that took me a couple of mistakes to learn. So I think that's powerful. That's amazing. You're the first person on the blog that's ever said that. Number 3, what is one resource you think every educator, no matter what, should definitely know about? Y'all need to get on top of this.
Well, again, I mean, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but I think Twitter is so powerful and social media. And some educators, I think, are just so scared of it that.
Do you see this?
That makes me so sad.
You don't have to. Thank you. Thank you. Like, you do not have to be upset, honey. This is not a terrifying thing. It's going to be fine.
No, it's so cool to make connections with people.
What's one way people can jump in and get started? So listen to Lauren. One way you can jump in, if you are the person who still has the egg for your profile picture, we're judging you.
Get a picture. You look like a newbie for sure.
Please put a picture up. And I always say join a chat. Like, easy entry, join a chat, or add everybody in your contacts list. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, just find a chat. Well, I'll put up hashtag like EdCampSCSD. Look at that hashtag. Start following the people that have tweeted to that hashtag, and then see what's happening on their feed.
I agree. And then 4, what was your last aha moment as a professional? Like this thing happened and you were like, I get it, or I see how all of this comes together now, or you were able to kind of blend a few things together to create this amazing.
Well, just the other day, I went to a book signing from Catherine Applegate. I was like so excited.
Were you fangirling?
Yes, I was like, so then I was telling my students about it, and they had all sorts of questions like, well, what was her first book that she wrote that I didn't know the answer to? So I pulled out my phone and I said, let's tweet her right now and see if she'll answer our questions. And she did. And so my second graders were like, oh my gosh, the lady that wrote this book is going to answer our questions. And so that just broke down the wall.
Amazing. Yeah. I bet they want to read everything she's written now. Like, can we ask her about this? And how empowering. That's a good way to teach them the power of their own voice.
Right.
Like there's 0 degrees of separation with technology now between you and who you want to talk to.
If you have a question, get it out there.
I love that. And then last one, because we have to change EdCamp session soon, you guys, okay? Lauren's like, look, in a few words, what do you think everyone should know about education, kind of the message you want to put out there, or a message you want to send to educators out there? Like one thing you all should know.
For educators, I would just say there are so many opportunities for us to, take control of our own growth.
I agree.
And that we can't wait and rely on what our districts are going to do or what
up top again.
What the organizations are going to provide for us, because there are so many opportunities out there that cost $0.
Absolutely.
And take a risk and try yourself.
I was just I had this conversation the other day and I had a friend say, I feel like teachers think that the way to advance is to receive a title. And I said, no, what teachers want is development opportunities. Teachers want to grow. If you've been in the classroom and you're working with kids, you want a chance to improve on what you're doing. And you want that feedback and you want to go see other things. So I definitely agree that we kind of got to go, not completely, but just a little bit rogue and say, here's something I really want to go after. And then you get out there and you get after.
And I would say if you want something and need some support, my advice is always ask for it. Ask your administrator, ask the team. They can't say yes if you don't ask them.
Agreed. And they may not always know what you need.
Right.
They're like, I totally support you. I had no idea that was something that was important to you. Well, thank you. You've been amazing. Tell us how to get in contact with you. What's your Twitter handle?
My Twitter handle is Miss MS Lauren, Lauren, Mertz, Mertz, Miss Lauren Mertz.
And we will put your blog underneath. Okay. Thank you for sitting down with us.
Problem.
Bye, you guys.
Bye.
That's all we have for today. Thank you for listening to The Core. Wherever you are listening to us, be sure to like our show, subscribe, and share the episode that's meant the most to you. We appreciate every single one of our subscribers, as do our sponsors. We look forward to seeing you next week. You can also check us out on YouTube at Red Apple EdCo if you'd like to see more video of these conversations. We have them posted there.